Hello. My camera's shaking, sorry. It's on like a kind of wobbly, call it a tripod-y thing. Anyway, my name is Amy, and I'm the indie dyer behind Pancake and Lulu Yarn and Fiber. And welcome to my podcast. I am not going to be talking too much about my own yarn, except for maybe my hand spun a little bit, because today I want to talk about Knit Collage. I am super excited because this week I became an official affiliate of Knit Collage, which is like, I've been a fan of Knit Collage for, well, what an affiliate means is that if you are buying anything from Knit Collage, and I get to do this too, so I get a little discount, you should, if you would like to support me as well as Knit Collage, you can use the link that will be in the description box below. And I have a place on my website, also on my page, that shows how to link it links right through to the Knit Collage website. So if you're thinking of doing, well, anything, you know, any purchases, buying any kits for the knit along that's coming up, it's going to be going live October 12th, I believe. But if you click through that link, then I get a little something for my affiliate relationship with Knit Collage, which is just wonderful, because I'm a huge fan of Knit Collage. I have been a fan well, I used to just be a spinner basically and a knitter, but I did not, before I started dyeing yarn, I was a spinner, and the kind of yarn that I most enjoy spinning and still most enjoy spinning is art yarn. So bulky, fun art yarn with stuff added into it, crazy wild art bats. So this just, it speaks to my heart, the style of yarn. But then beyond that, the company itself is so wonderful. And so I love everybody that works there, that I've gotten to know through social media. I've met Amy in person briefly, but it was great talking to her. I mean, I chatted with her for a little bit 2 years ago at an event at Rhinebeck. So it's really exciting that I am now an affiliate. So if you are thinking of any purchases or joining the knit along, and if you would like to support Pancake and Lulu, then please use my link. But what I'd like to do is talk about how just much it has meant to me to knit with the knit along for Knit Collage. This is my hand spun Harley. I used a combination of Knit Collage yarns as well as my own hand spun in it. And the most exciting thing about this sweater is that it is entrelac, which I had never been able to do. I even had a book on it, but I just thought it was I couldn't wrap my head around it until I did the knit along last spring. And the thing that's so great about the Knit Collage knit alongs is that when you're making one of the main patterns, the classes go step by step, and you get these incredible classes with it. I love the classes. That's what actually, I love, Amy is the teacher of the classes, and I love the way that she teaches. It just is so approachable and not, she's just a wonderful teacher, and the classes are really fun. So that's what encouraged me actually in the last knit along to knit 1, 2, 3, 4 of the patterns. I will show you all of them. One of them isn't quite finished, so I'll still show it to you. I still have to seam it. And there's also one that I'm not 100% happy with. It has both of actually, the one that's not finished and the one that I'm not 100% happy with has nothing to do with the patterns or Knit Collage. I used my own hand spun, and that was the problem. But anyway, it's making me learn about what kind of hand spun I want to make, because really want to make all the Knit Collage patterns. But back to the Harley. This was a super fun project. This is, I'm going to stand up. It's cropped. So it's, you know, it's bulky, but it's cropped, which is nice. So it's not huge. The arms are nice and large. Roomy. It's super roomy. I made the right size. I forget what size I made. I have to, let me look actually, just to give you guys a clear, I hope I wrote down which size. Oh, I did not write it down. I might have been the smallest size. I have my Ravelry page open with my projects on there. I'll have to update that and unlook and see which one it was. But it's a really gorgeous, I think it turned out gorgeous. But it also is just a wonderful way to use your own hand spun in combination if you need, or if you have extra Knit Collage yarns. So I used, and I didn't even do it the way the pattern suggests, where you're kind of making sure it looks like stripes all the way across. Some parts do, but other parts I just kind of put in patches here and there. And I like, because I kept it all kind of in the same color value, you know, it's all kind of light and same tones of yellows, golds, and kind of peaches and pinks. I think it really works, even though it's not, I think I even made a mistake where I thought I was going to be doing a continuous pattern of the kind of diamonds across the sleeve part, but I had kind of underestimated, because I was, this was also because I used a lot of my own yarns. I was just kind of, I wasn't following the pattern exactly where it would tell you, make sure you're using this yarn for it to look continuous. But I love the way it looks. I think it's patchy and fun, and this was a big success. I think this was, I would say my favorite sweater from the last knit along for sure. Oh, also before I did that, I actually knit 5 things from the last knit along, because this is what I did before the sweater. This is what made me want to do the sweater. I approached Entrelac with the pillow, which is called the Dreamweaver Pillow. And that's how I learned to do it. It was really a great way for an introduction into Entrelac, because this is just a square that you're knitting. And so there's not the same, even though this is actually so easy because it's really shaped by just leaving out squares. So it's really much easier than it looks. But this kind of, because I was so intimidated by Entrelac, I started out with this pillow. Sorry, I have to remember to look at the camera instead of at the screen. I loved doing this so much that instead of doing the back, which was supposed to be garter stitch rows, I actually did the back as Entrelac as well. And here I used a lot of the wildflower yarns that I had from Knit Collage from previous projects. So these are 2 of the wildflower fabric yarns. And then I used a lot of my own hand spun. I even used this gradient hand spun that was really fun to use, because it's on this side too. It's like, this is by Loop. It was a bullseye bat by Loop, and it changes color as you're spinning. So it kind of evolved into these different colors as I was knitting, which was super fun. And then I have some Hedgehog Fibers Fiber Club that I had spun. I love Hedgehog Fibers Fiber Club. Is super fun to belong to if you're a spinner. Sometimes sometimes it takes a really long time to get here from Ireland, but it's so worth it to me. And more wildflower. And then the tassels were just a combination of pretty much everything, my hand spun and the Knit Collage. So that's what my introduction to Entrelac. And then I was like, I have to make that sweater. It's just so much fun to make. And I would make another one. I was hoping actually that this upcoming knit along would have an Entrelac pattern, because I would definitely do that. But I don't know, that might be in the works in the future at some point, because I suggested it to Amy. But I was also thinking I could just do on my own. Now that I know how to do it, I could do a throw, because I think that would be awesome in Entrelac. This is the daisy chain yarn right here. I love the way these little daisies pop up. And then, oh, the other thing about this that was super cool was it inspired me to make my own wildflower yarn, which is Knit Collage's fabric yarn. I had some fabric that, actually this fabric right here, I just ripped strips of it and kind of did it continuously around, snipping a little corner. I'll do a little tutorial on that sometime. But I made my own fabric yarn. It's very easy to make, but the thing that's cool about this fabric is this was in my daughter Chloe's nursery when she was a baby. So I had these curtains. This is what were the curtains. And I always saved it. It was a really cute, one of those reproduction, like 1930s fabrics that you get at the quilt store. And I made curtains for her nursery, and I just always kept them because you know, I had made them, and I just kept them in my fabric stash, just folded up, washed them, folded them up with my fabric stash. And I saw this and I was like, oh, those tones would be perfect for what I had in mind for this. And so I feel so happy that I sort of reused those curtains in this amazing sweater. So let me show you some of the other sweaters I made during the knit along last time, the spring knit along. I'll put it on though. I want to show you, I want to model it for you. This was the Love Letter Cardi. And this was the kit I got when I joined the knit along. I got the kit. Actually, this wasn't even the kit for that. It was a kit for a different sweater, but I wanted to do the Love Letter Cardi, and I figured out that if I bought that kit, it had everything I needed for the Love Letter Cardi. I can't remember now if I changed my mind after I got the kit or if I thought of this before, but what I really wanted to do was have a mini skein sampler to use in my Love Letter Cardi, and I didn't want to just do wildflower yarn. I think that it was I think originally the Love Letter Cardi pattern was Spun Cloud, which is the main color, and then a mini skein kit of wildflower yarn. But I really wanted to do a mini skein kit of mixed knit collage yarns because I really wanted to try all the different knit collage yarns that I hadn't ever tried before. So the mini skein kit is really cool because it comes with, you can either get all wildflower or you can get the mixed one, which is the one I love. It has 5 different, I believe they're all different, 5 different of the knit collage yarns in mini skein form. So that's what I used for this. Let me put it on, and I'm gonna do a Samantha, my favorite show when I was little. I used to watch it in reruns after school, Bewitched. So let's see if I can do that. Okay, that was my first Samantha. I hope it worked. Anyway, I switched with Mabel over there. Actually, I just made that up. I don't have a name for my dress form, but I should have a name. I wonder if anyone has any ideas for me. If you think of a name, put it in the comments. I know that a lot of people have named their dress forms, and I just haven't. Actually, I have thought about it. I just haven't come up with a name. Anyway, so here is my Love Letter Cardi that I used. This is the kit I got for the knit along, but I did do a different sweater, this sweater, with the kit, and I don't remember what kit it was supposed to be. But I ended up using some of my hand spun again, because I like to put my own spin on things. So I did this part with my own. I actually modified this pattern a little bit too. I remember what happened. So I modified the pattern a little bit, but I used up every bit of this beautiful, I think this is called Bodacious Pink. Let me see if I have it in my Ravelry. Fuchsia, not Bodacious Pink. Bodacious Pink is the neon, beautiful pink. This is called Fuchsia. Yeah. Oh, okay. I wrote down what I did. I had ordered the Kaleidoscope sweater kit, but I ended up doing this Love Letter Cardi, which was such a cool pattern also. I mean, this was such an unusual pattern. Let me show you why. Let me show you the fit. First of all, I love the fit because it hits me right at the hip. It's a very flattering fit. This reminds me, actually, this sweater always reminds me of kind of Prince or something. Like I should wear this if I could go to a Prince concert. I'd probably be really hot in this, but I would wear this because it just reminds me of Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince. Anyway, I love the fit of this. The shaping is so cool because it has these eyelets and it has them in the back as well. And you really learn a lot about shaping it. It's very flattering fit. You also have puffed sleeves. That was so cool. That's what kind of reminds me, I think, of the 80s. What I did to modify it is I made the sleeves longer because I made them kind of 3/4 length. They're a little bit shorter than I would say 3/4 length, but they're below my elbows because I'm not a short sleeve sweater person. I have knit, I'm tempted to knit them all the time because there's so much no sleeve island, basically. But I just don't think I'd wear them. I can't see myself because in a sweater, it's like I want to be warm and cozy, and I'm not. Oh, there's fuzz. Anyway, so I did want to make the sleeves longer because I thought I'd wear it more. And the sleeves kind of came out a bit, which I love, is this bell sleeve, which I think really goes with the whole. That's just because I knit it straight and I didn't decrease at all. And then I think this is in the original pattern. I did kind of, it's a picot bind off, I believe. But this is where I used all the different Knit Collage minis. I think I used every one that came in my kit. Yeah. This one is I forget the name of that yarn. I forget the name of this one. This one's such a gorgeous one. I love it. It has the gold. I think it might have a lot of different things into it. I want to call it Dream something, but I can't remember what the actual name is. This is the Wildflower Fabric yarn, which I love this color. This is the Spun Cloud in, I think that's High Vibes colorway. This is, I'm so bad. I should have looked up the names of these different yarns. I'm forgetting, but anyway, I love this one. This was a gorgeous one as well. This is the thick and thin one. I forget the name of it too. I'll try to write them all down in the box below. And then this was my hand spun. That's the same as this part here. So by using some of my hand spun, I was able to make the extend sort of the pattern, this main color yarn, because I would have run out because I don't think I have even an inch of it left. Anyway, I was really psyched about the way this one came out too. I don't know if I hope I wear this. Yeah, I've got to go to a Prince concert, really. I don't know if I'll wear this as much because it's kind of more wild to me. Be really, really fun for a party though. This one's just because of the colors, it's like a lot more subdued, even though it's kind of, you know, like all Knit Collage, it's like, it's a big sweater and it's making a statement. So let me show you, so I've shown you 1, 2, 3. Let me, I'll do another Samantha and show you my other sweater. Actually, I'm not, yeah, I'll wear it, I guess. I don't know. Should I put it on? All right. Okay. This is one sweater that I'm not 100%, I don't know, maybe it's growing on me actually now that I put it on. This is my Kaleidoscope Cardi. This was a bonus pattern with the knit along in the spring. And I was just saying how I don't really use short sleeves or wear short sleeve sweaters. This one had to be short sleeve because this was all made out of my own hand spun. This is it was a beautiful hand spun, I think I coarse spun it. This was a Hedgehog Fibers fiber of the month. I don't remember what month. And it's really pretty. It's actually really pretty for fall. But because of the short sleeves, I'll see. Maybe I'll make sure that I'll try wearing this out. That's the only reason I wasn't happy with it because I ran out of the yarn. And I couldn't make more of this yarn. And that's something that I have got to learn about. That's one of the tricky things about knitting with your own hand spun, is that you have to make sure that you have enough. And when you're knitting with your own hand spun, a lot of times you're limited on the bat that you're spinning from or the roving because you may not have enough of it. So one way to extend a bat or a roving, this was a roving, is by doing coarse spun because you're kind of you've got something in the middle of coarse spun. Usually it's just a very basic yarn that you don't care that much about. And then you're spinning over it and you're it's really stretches the special fiber because you're just wrapping that around the outside. Rather than filling the whole yarn with it. Some of the really beautiful bats parts of it will get completely covered up if you don't do a coarse spin. So I love coarse spinning because I love those special bats and I don't want any bit of it to disappear inside. anyway, so I did, actually this looks better now that I've put it on. This is also a nice, kind of a little bit cropped, but not as cropped as the Love Letter. It was a great pattern, really fun to knit and super fast. But like I said, I don't know, I would love this sweater if it had at least 3/4 length sleeves. So we'll just see. I was thinking maybe I would frog this and just use this for something else. But now that I put it on, actually looks kind of good for this time of year. So we'll see. So that was my 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 project. Oh, fifth. I knew I had a 5th project. Here's my 5th project that this is also, I did it all out of my hand spun. This is the Flower Power Cardi, which I loved. I spun most of this yarn during Tour de Fleece this year, which was my first time joining that, which if you don't know about Tour de Fleece, it's a spinning, almost like a spin along during the Tour de France, and which lasts for 3 weeks, I believe. And I always like to watch a little bit of the Tour de France, but I never watch very much of it just because it's so big and long. But this was such a cool thing to do because it made me get really into the Tour de France, because I watched it, I think, every single day, and really back into spinning. So that was what kind of sent me. I'd been getting into spinning in the beginning of this year again. I had stopped spinning for a long, long time, just because I got super burnt out from spinning way too much and selling, just having it be a business. And I don't know if I'll sell my hand spun. I might, but because I've been spinning a lot more. But I kind of like just spinning for myself and using it because it is time consuming. And so I started spinning again this year, and this is my Flower Power Cardi. Okay, it's not done yet, so don't judge. It's also not sewn up yet. So right now I'm at the point where I need to seam the, I've got them clipped together. I need to just sit down and seam the construction on this is so cool. It goes from sleeve, it's a cardi. So the way that you're knitting is from sleeve to sleeve, so across. It also has intarsia, which I don't know, I'm still on the fence, like, do I really like intarsia? It has beautiful big flowers that this is my hand spun from various bats. Some of them I carded myself and dyed. Some were special. This is Wild Time Fiber on Etsy. I think it's Wild Time. I'll put that below. That I joined their club for 3 months, and I want to join again. It's beautiful, beautiful art bats that are so spectacular. This was wool for the Dame. This was a really fun kind of Neapolitan colorway. Yeah, I think that's all that's in here. And the others I did. I dyed the bats. So this, I don't know if I can, should I put this on? I think I should just wait to put this on. I'll model it for you another time. As much as I like doing the Samanthas. I'll do one more. But actually, I'll just do it here. I'll do this one. Ready? Okay. This is the Flower Power Cardi, and so I have it clipped. I haven't sewn it yet, but I have it clipped here. My problem with this so far, it was the following the teachable lessons made this completely doable. I would have felt very alone. I probably wouldn't have even wanted to do it by myself. So again, thank you, Amy, for having such awesome tutorials, because that kept me going. And my only thing is I do wish that I made a smaller size, because it came out huge. But the reason for that is because I did gauge swatch to see if I could substitute my own yarns, but I think it just got off because it's hand spun and it's by me, and it's not super consistent. It's like, you know, I could have gone down a needle size actually too. Anyway, the gauge is definitely off, so it's kind of big. It's not super, it's actually not terribly long, which is great because otherwise I think I'd look like it was a bathrobe or something. But the sleeves are kind of big. That's the only thing. I actually took out part of the sleeve because one was longer than the other, which I think is just because of my gauge. Actually, this sleeve feels bigger than this sleeve still. I think this was the one. Yeah, this is the one that I took out. You know, this is going to be, and I have to still do the collar. So after I seam up the edges, I then do the collar and then weave in. I did weave in as I went along, but let me show you the flowers too, because they're really pretty. That's one flower and that's the other flower. Anyway, I love it. I mean, I shouldn't say I love it. I don't know if I love it, but I do feel like it's been a learning experience. And this is definitely something I would wear around the house. Like it's so big. It might be too flawed to really want to wear it out in public, but it was definitely a learning experience for when I use my own hand spun to make future knit collage patterns. And I'm not discouraged. I'm just like, actually it feels like I'm learning. So I'm going to keep going because I want to put what I feel like I've learned into practice. So for this next knit along that's coming up, I so excited. My yarn is already shipped because as an affiliate, I get to choose my yarn early. So I'm going to show you that when it comes. I'm going to do a reveal on Instagram. I know what sweater I'm making. I'm going to show you that coming up in the reveal. But so I've got one kit for one of the sweaters. And then I know I want to make at least two others that are in this upcoming fall knit along. And with those ones that are upcoming, I'm going to use my own hand spun along with leftovers of Knit Collage again, because I think that will, yeah. I'm going to use both together again. Or, you know, if I don't have enough leftovers of Knit Collage, I'll just have my own. I do have a lot of hand spun right now, so that I would like to use. But I feel like I've learned a real lesson from this. A lesson from each of these that I spun on my own. This one, don't make a sweater unless you know you have enough yarn. That's really a basic lesson that I should know. But somehow using my own hand spun, it's like almost starting over again as a knitter sometimes. And this one is just wonky, and that's okay. It's a wonky hand spun, so excuse me. Sorry about that. Oh, I should have done Samantha. Okay, let me do one more Samantha to show you my other. I have one other knit collage that I've done. And this was from gosh, I want to say, this was a spring knit along, I think in 2019. I think that's right. And this is the garden party sweater. It's a cardigan. Let me show you that, and I'm going to do it, Samantha, my last one. Okay, here is the garden party sweater. I think it's just sweater. I also like the fit on this one a lot. I like that it's got a lower back. And I made this one, like I said, quite a while ago. So this was a kit that I got for the spring, I think it's 2019 knit along. So this was my first knit collage knit along. And then I didn't do the knit along for a couple of years because I was just, you know, in another world, I guess. It was the pandemic and I should have done it. I want to make, there are a couple of sweaters in those other knit alongs that I'm still, I don't even think they've released the patterns yet, or I haven't seen them. So I want to make some of those other patterns as well. But this was a pretty successful knit. There was one thing when I first did this collar, I do remember that I picked up the stitches way too tightly and it was very like cinched up. So if you see, it's like, now I like the fact that it's a little shorter in the front and longer in the back because that's flattering for me. But at first I remember I had to take this whole thing off, which doesn't take very long on such a bulky yarn. But at first I remember it was like not stretched. It was like this or something and it just didn't look good. But I like it. It's good. I don't know if these are really my colors anymore. I should try wearing it more often. I just don't wear my knits a lot. I'm a process knitter. Is that it? Yeah. I like finishing them, but I just wear like really plain clothes most of the days because I'm a homebody. So I'm not going to be like strutting around in my knits too much. But that's why I really like doing this podcast, because I kind of get dressed up. I get to wear my knits. Anyway, so I think just the last thing I want to say is that you guys should sign up for this knit along in October 12th is when it starts. They're only open. The kits are only open. You're only able to join it for 1 week. So you have to do it that week. Of course, you know, if you don't join, that's okay too. I don't want to make you feel like you have to join. I just want to sing the praises because I think there's so much more. Actually, Amy has just put out 2 videos. I think she's putting out a 3rd one too, talking about the knit along. So if you've never done it and you don't really know like what's the big deal, it is a really different kind of knit along. There's a lot more that you get doing the knit along than just the yarn and the patterns. First of all, you get like 8 patterns or whatever. Yeah, you get a ton of patterns. And then because you get all the patterns and all of the teachables. So she works so hard, or the whole team works so hard. And then on top of the teachable classes that you take they're the main patterns and the bonus patterns. The bonus patterns don't have classes, but you still get the pattern. And usually I think those are simpler patterns. The teachable classes are in-depth, really in-depth classes. So those are wonderful. You get knit along nights by Zoom. There's like yoga this year that Amy's actually teaching, because now she's a yoga teacher. So I'm super excited to try that. And it's like restorative yoga. So it's nothing too strenuous, because I definitely have issues. So I know like I'm not always up for that full-blown kind of yoga. But I think it's very mindful yoga. There's a whole mindfulness component to the knit along where Amy is having speakers come, and she also talks a lot about how knitting has changed her life and, you know, the other benefits that you can get out of being a knitter. So I just want to encourage you guys to sign up. Even if you don't use my link, you could use my link. But if you don't, that's absolutely the main thing, is that you sign up, because it's just so fun. And if you do, I'll see you out there in the Knit Collage world, at Zooms or what have you. So thanks for joining me. And I definitely, you know, it's weird actually, what I want to say is today is the start of the Stephen West knit along. So I am super excited about that one too. And I'm doing the Amba Halloween knit along as well. So it's like knit along season. Oh, it's just saying to my husband, I feel like October is like Disney World for knitters, because there's so much going on that you can't do everything. You can't do everything because everybody's putting that out everything in October, because it's sweater weather and it's time to, you know, it just like feels like you're at Disney World because there's just so much to do. And on the other hand, there's like, you can't do everything because, you know, it's as if we have like multiple theme parks going on at the same time. So, anyway, I just thought that was kind of funny. Like I'm doing 3 knit alongs right now. Actually I haven't started the Knit Collage one. So hopefully, I think that starts, I don't know the date that it starts, but I know that you have to sign up October 12th. It's only open for 1 week. And then I think it starts maybe the end of October, beginning of November. So hopefully I can kind of get through some of the other knit alongs that I'm doing before I just become obsessed with Knit Collage again, because I know that will happen. Anyhow, so thank you for joining me. I want to do a whole episode also on Stephen West and a whole episode on Amba patterns, because I have done multiple knit alongs with those wonderful designers too. So I'm a huge fan of both of those people. Oh, there's one more thing I want to show you. Sorry, this is longer than I meant. I guess I just can't stop talking. I have been, I'm introducing Art Batts. Speaking of spinning art yarn, I'm introducing Art Batts into my shop again. I used to sell Art Batts long ago, and I called them Lulu Batts, like Lulu meaning like crazy, because they're crazy bats. They're full of all different kinds of fibers and colors. Let me show you one that I just carded up because I'm doing India Untangled everywhere. I'm doing a bunch right now for the shop, but I have one right here. So let me just grab it. I'm going to do one more last. Did I explain this? It's from Bewitched. You just go, okay, I'm back. This is one of my art bats that I just made. I'm calling this, I think, Witchy Woman. I was going to call it like Sea Mermaid, but I called it Witchy Woman in my last video, so I guess I have to call it that. The one that I did for India Untangled. Anyway, it's beautiful art bat. I have a brand new carder, so it's been super fun. I got this carder, it came in the summer, and I've been experimenting with it, and I love designing bats with just all sorts of colors. And inside, I'm not going to open this one, but inside of here are all different layers of other colors too. So there's all kinds of surprises inside. So if you are a spinner and you like to spin art yarn, you can check out the bats at my in my shop. I only do 4, well, up to 4 actually, I should say, at a time. So this will never be, these don't get repeated, like they're not repeatable. I usually just try to do, I'm trying to now do, I was only doing 1 at a time before, but they were just for myself. Trying to do 4 like ones at a time. And they weigh between 3.5 and 4 ounces. So they're kind of like a full skein of yarn. And you can spin this, I mean, I think you have to kind of spin this as an art yarn and a bulky, slightly bulky, but although there's a whole thing about spinning thinner art yarns, so I don't know, I haven't tried that. I like spinning bulky. There's all kinds of fibers in here. You can look at this, look for this on my website, and it'll tell you the fiber, all the different fibers inside here. But it's a, if you don't like any certain fibers, you may not want one of these, because this has like, I don't know, like 5 to 10 different kinds of fiber in it. More than 5, definitely 10 different fibers in here. And sparkle and neps and silk and merino and mohair and camel is in this one too. Anyway, I just wanted to share that as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.